there. Welcome to the Hands Up for Trad afternoon show. Hope you're all well out there. I think possibly that in Scotland here we had our Scottish summer last Thursday. It was very nice, but I'm glad it's over. I mean, it was getting hot at 10 degrees, and you know what's good about that? Because we've had our summer, there's no expectations left. And if the sun comes out, that's great, and everybody's going to be happy. No one's going to be worrying about going to Spain because we've had our summer, so everything else is a bonus. Now, please tell us where you're watching from today. It's always great to hear. Share the show with your friends. And please welcome our fabulous guest today, Boran player to the stars, Gino Lupari.
Boran player to the stars. Oh my God, Simon!
At last,
I'm waiting on the Irish summer.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm very good actually, but the sun always shines in Ireland.
Yeah, well, it always shines on me.
Well, that's really good. Well, before we get chatting, we're going to watch a video from Duncan Lyle. This is a really interesting video because the video is called Titan, and it features NASA's Titan rocket launch, I think from the 80s. And it's all, Duncan's got an Indiegogo fund going at the moment for his new album Milestone. And it ends at midnight tonight. So if you want to give him some money towards it, here is the link. handsup.link/milestone, and that'll take you right there. But let's watch the video.
Absolutely.
Great stuff there.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so there's the link again if you want to support Duncan's Indiegogo campaign. I know he'll really appreciate it. So, Gino, where are
Simon,
you from?
I am from Magherafelt in County Derry, right at the foot of the Sperrin Mountains.
Is that a
You've been in it.
beautiful place?
We've partied in it.
Probably you partied with my wife there more than I have, actually.
Yeah, and Mr. Carr.
Oh, yes, I was speaking to him. He's away skiing at the moment.
I can't believe Ian Carr's doing anything energetic at all.
He is quite energetic. But
Well,
so
it is for Ian.
so have you did you start playing the bowling when you were very young?
No, I got a present of a Byron from a guy I went to. My family trade is flooring, marble, and terrazzo, and I went to work for a summer in an arcade in Donegal, and because the job was so rushed, the guy that owned the arcade bought me a Byron from a music shop, and I used to sit at night in the bed and breakfast practicing. And then I decided that it was just I made a link with it, and I learned a jig rhythm, and I went to my first session, and I sat and I waited for the King of the Fairies, the tune, the King of the Fairies, and I played the life out of it, and then I stopped again because I didn't have the confidence. I'd never been to a session before.
That's amazing, though, isn't it? Actually, because so
it's
many
great,
of the...
and I just because coming from an Italian background, there was no traditional music in my house. It was all Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, Perry Como, Mantovani. No Irish music at all till I got Chieftains. I hooked into the Chieftains and then listened to Kevin and playing, and then it got me interested in Irish traditional music, and I went to a session in my town, and that's where I met Cahill Hayden. Well, he was about 14, I was about 15, maybe 16, and it's a friendship that has remained ever since. And
That's amazing.
we've traveled the world many times having the crack.
So let me quickly ask you that, because we'll get on to talk about that. Are your parents Italian?
Grandfather and grandmother were Italian. My father was born in Belfast, but during the war they were sent out of Belfast because of the bombings from the Germans, and they went to a country town, which is where they landed. And my dad met my mum in primary 2, and he used to carry her books to school.
Oh, that's lovely.
So, Italian romance is never dead.
I love it. I'm going to move there. So you weren't playing. There wasn't a lot of Irish music in your family, but was there a strong scene in Magherafelt?
No, at this pub, this guy took over this pub, and he decided that he wanted to have a session, or they called it then a fiddler's night. So I was told, and I went down, and I met Cahill was still in first or second year at school, and he travelled with these other boys who I became friendly with as well, and he was only playing the banjo at that time, and even then he was like outstanding, like it was just scary.
So, what age were you then when the Four Men and the Dog started?
Oh, well, I went to university as a mature, well, I know it's a contradiction in terms, mature student, but the first year, it was the first year we brought out Barking Mad. So I don't know, I'm 60 now, 61, 62. And so we're playing for 30 years, so it's 30 years. I must have been late 20s.
Late 20s. So actually, you weren't really. Were you playing lots of music in between meeting? No.
Nope. I taught myself, and then as I say, I was working for my uncle in the family business, and he had an affinity with the banjo. So coming to and from work, he would play the Dubliners, and we worked in a butcher shop one time in Lisnaskea in County Fermanagh, and my uncle told me about bones. So he got the butcher to cut me a set of bones, and then he put me into the back of the van because I was rattling them. And listening to Ski to Magherafelt about an hour and a half, and before I got home, I was able to get a rhythm out of it. And then I was told to boil them and then bury them and all that. And then I was lucky enough to meet Seamus O'Kane, who steered me. Seamus makes my boy runs to this day, and he steered me in the way of session etiquette and fly competitions and things like that.
Well, there's a wee message from Murrow O'Kane there. Hello,
Oh,
Gino
I
and
see Mark
Simon.
there now.
Love the beard, Gino.
Oh, well, that's a lockdown. I've no hair, so I'm doing a lockdown.
So that first album with the band, Barking Mad, was amazing, wasn't it? It was Folks Roots Awards for Best Album in 1991. Yes.
Well, I'll tell you, Simon, we got into the studio, and I had never, been in a studio before. Cahill and Donald and Mick Daly and Brian McGrath, and Artie was in the chair, and Artie McGlynn. And I remember saying to Cahill, "What are we going to play in here?" And he says, "I haven't a clue." That's honest to God. And then Artie came up with the idea of the rap, which has been my traveling companion for 30 years. And a friend of his and a friend of the band's called Neil Johnson, who was a local journalist, wrote this rap. And Artie and myself just recorded it on Easter Saturday. Just the two of us in the studio, and then they put in the boys after that. And it went everywhere. I was called, oh God. To this day, I still get asked for it, to play it.
Well, the whole album was fabulous. I remember I was in Edinburgh in 1991, and we were all listening to it, all playing the tunes, and cause there was a lot of Scottish tunes on that album as well. I remember that.
We have an affinity with when Jerry O'Connor joined the band. Him and Manus Lunny were great friends, and Jerry had a lot of tunes, and he'd been to Shetland. He'd been to Shetland before the Dogs had been. And he had an affinity with Scottish music, so it was that was interesting, to hear that. But we were listening to the Easy Club and stuff like that, Jim Sutherland, great man.
Oh, absolutely. Well, we're going to watch a wee video here of it's quite a recent video, but it's a lot of the old lineup has come back together. It was recorded at the Fla.
It's from the Fla TV program. It was recorded last year for the Fla that was cancelled in Mullingar, and we put together the original band plus Jerry O'Connor. Who was there? Mick Daly, Brian McGrath, Donald Murphy, Cahill, myself, Kevin, Jerry O'Connor, and Stephen Hayden. So it was the Dog Big Band.
Oh, it was great. Well, let's have a look at it.
Mick hit.
The dreams, bright lights and the boulevards. In this empty room, a guitar makes a band. Our last conversation still echoes on bare walls like a child's painting of everything we planned. Across the brown fields and through the frozen meadows, all around this place we call our own. We all have to live here in each other's shadows, hoping that someday we'll get home. We kept a secret hidden deep inside, hidden love, unbidden love, and all the tears we cried. Though I've loved you for a long time, it can't be denied. Someone sees the dreams we hide. Someone sees the dreams we hide. Dreams we hide.
Oh, that takes me back. Let me just say hello to a few people. Hi to Philip McHenry. Thanks for coming back again. Hi to Vincent in Leeds. Hi to Christine from Largs in West Coast. Hi Rose. Hi from Lockerbie, listening while we're doing my homework from school. Well, hopefully, Rose, you'll be back in school before you know it.
Yeah.
Hi Ray and hi Mara. So, the band, after that Barking Mad album, you were at a festival in Norway and you happened to meet the guys from the legendary The Band.
Yeah, well, after Barking Mad, Simon, the whole thing just went crazy. We toured constantly, and Mick didn't want to do the tour as much as we did, so Kevin Doherty and Jerry O'Connor came in, and that we were in Norway after we had recorded Shift and Gravel. We had a chance to go to Norway, to Haugesund, to a festival, or go to Hong Kong for a festival, and we decided we would go to Norway because Kevin and I were big fans of the band. Levon Helm, Gareth Hudson, Rick Danko, and we met them there at a festival and became friends with them. And we had a party in my room, of course, with the minibar. I mean, you know yourself, in Norway, they have big prices for beer in Norway. So my minibar got a public hanging, and as Levon was leaving my room, he says, you know, your next album, you should come to Woodstock. It didn't do Muddy Waters any harm. So we got signed by a label, Old Topic label, and it was called Castle Communications. And I rang Levon and said, can we take you up on your offer? And we had met their engineer on the road, Aaron Hoyowitz, and we got him to produce it. And we went out to Woodstock for 6 weeks, hanging out with the boys. It was great crack. And we made Dr. A's Secret Remedies out there and Long Roads.
And what was the experience like? Did you feel like sort of pop stars, or was it just really natural?
Well, no, Levon's recording studio was a barn, big, and it's where he has where he had the midnight rambles, where, you know, Elvis Costello or Chris Christopherson or John Prine would come and play, and we would be in there recording, and then Levon would come out and maybe do some backing vocals, or Rick would come in and play bass and sing, or Gareth would come in and put accordion or piano on it, and all the local heads from around Woodstock that had moved out of the city up into Woodstock came out and played, and we used to hang out in the Joyous Lake, a little club, and we had a house for 6 weeks, and it was great. We had such fun. It was great crack.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. Yeah, well,
not pop stars, not at all. We just had the crack thing. It was great.
Well, the reason I asked that question, I remember Jim Sutherland saying when he was about to start playing with Page and Plant, he said to me that within folk music he always felt in control and quite cool and quite happy. But as soon as he met up with the pop stars, he felt like a sort of a total Highlander with no confidence.
Yeah, I can understand that with Jim, but the way, especially American music, like I've done different stuff with different people now, but American musicians, they don't even, the band didn't even do sound checks. They had guys, sound check the bass and the pianos, and they all kept themselves to themselves in the bus. Then the tour manager got them, and their whole attitude, it wasn't a gig, it was a show. It was this, there's nothing, we do not leave anything to chance. Being traditional musicians, well, that'll be grand. Or, getting out of a van after 9 hours in the Autobahn in the clothes that you were playing in last night, away you go, and straight up the Autobahn into the gig, and no sound check. But these boys, it taught us to be more professional, but yet still have the feeling of we don't know what we're doing.
Oh, fantastic. Now, I want to watch a wee video now of Cathal Hayden playing fiddle. He's just such a a wonderful player, and he's just got his own thing. Was he like that when you first met him?
All the time. Cahill is he's an unsung hero of traditional music in Ireland, and he doesn't, I'm biased, but he doesn't get the recognition that he deserves especially in the north of Ireland, for his work and like he's a genius. Like you throw that about all the time, but he is a head and shoulders above most of them. A great player.
Well, let's watch him playing a reel.
Super playing.
Fabulous. I mean, I remember when
and that's quite slow for Cal as well.
Yeah, I was going to say actually, there's actually not that many YouTube clips of him, actually. So that was really good to find that and being constrained.
No, he's great, and he's such a, he's the driving. He started the Dogs, and Mick Daly came to him and says, "Do you know this guy Gino Lupari?" And he says, "I do." He says, "You need him in the band too." So Brian and we had been playing sessions, then as we got older, and we used to travel all around the country playing tunes together as a group, but not as a band. It was great.
So you've done lots of recording sessions with musicians.
Yeah.
What are the kind of people you played with? You played with some real famous ones, haven't you?
I did Sinead O'Connor's album. I did. I can't remember the name of the album. I met her in London through Shane McGowan and the boys from the Pogues and the Popes. I did. I can't remember them all. I did a soundtrack for a movie, a couple of movies in Australia. I did a very interesting thing called The Passion, and I actually got a part in it, playing the music, and way down in Dorset, way down the south near Stonehenge and all them places. And it was Gina McKee was in it, and Freddie, he was the Elephant Man, and it was brilliant, really great times. And we did a couple of things. We did a couple of things in America with the Smithsonian Channel and National Geographic. And then in Australia, I did a movie with Gabriel Byrne on an IMAX movie. It was great crack.
Oh, amazing.
So, but I'm not working now, if anybody's a job.
Yes, we'll get your email address up in a minute. Can you still fit floors?
Not just tall. That's on your hands and knees all day.
I mean, you can come to mine.
I only tend to spend the hands and knees after the gig.
What about singing? We're going to watch a video of you singing in a moment. So we talked about the rap, but you're a great singer. Where did that start?
Really, my father and uncle played in my uncle was a fantastic saxophone player and clarinet player, really, really good. And my father used to sing in his band sometimes. And when I'd come home from school, my father would be standing there in front of the 8-track machine singing Dean Martin songs. So all my brothers and sisters would know all the words, but I'm the only one that pursued a musical career. And I don't know. Hopefully I got my father's voice, but I wouldn't. There's great singers out there, but it was something that I didn't know I could do till we got Barking Mad.
Well, this is a video of you singing live in your local pub, I think, with a rock and roll band. It's quite dark, but it's definitely you.
Where did you get this at?
This is on YouTube. It was just waiting to be broadcast.
Shut up.
Right, let's watch this. You'll love it.
Jesus on the main line, tell him what you want. Whoa, Jesus on the main line, tell him what you want. Jesus on the main line, tell him what you want. You gotta call him up and tell him what you want. That line ain't never busy, tell him what you want. Whoa, that line ain't never busy, tell him what you want. Whoa, that line ain't never busy, tell him. Get well, tell them what you want. If you're sick and you want to get well, tell them what you want. If you're sick and you want to get well, tell them what you want. You gotta call them up. Hit around, hit around, hit around, hit around, hit around, hit around.
Where'd you look at that? What
Oh,
brilliant!
God, Simon. Oh,
That's a great bit of sax played there as well.
oh, he's from Buncrana in County Donegal, where Liz comes from.
Oh, let's
Johnny
start
McCarn.
yeah.
Great guy. Great man. Oh, that's a tough one there now. Just when I have you, I wanted to on behalf of all the traditional and folk musicians in Scotland, England, Wales, and Ireland worldwide, we just want to send our regards and thoughts to Heidi Pearson's family today. Heidi's getting buried today, so we send lots of love, and our thoughts and prayers are with Amanda and her family.
Yes, that's for anyone who doesn't know. Heidi's was a fantastic photographer from Shetland. And we had loads. She was great for the parties. We were all off at Shetland Folk Festival.
Oh, yeah. She got that famous photograph of me with my tongue out.
Oh, yeah, of
And
course.
That was a good photo. I think you were there. That was at the concert hall in Glasgow. And we went to some bar after it that you knew. And there was John McCusker, me, you. There was a few of us.
Well, Gino, usually when you're there, I don't really remember it.
My job here is done.
So I actually found I've been finding so many great videos of you today, and this is one of you teaching bowling with a didgeridoo in Australia.
Oh, in Australia.
Oh
man,
do you like teaching?
Funny. I do. I like teaching beginners because their mind, they're so keen, and you can sort of shape them really early. You've got other guys and other people come to me and say, well, I'm quite an advanced player, but I just need to know about this and that. And when you hear them playing, they mightn't be advanced. They're advanced in their own head. You know what I mean? So they have stopped learning. But if you get people that are at beginners and they're keen to learn, you can always sort of teach them something. Because I'm sure you with the concertina, well, I'm quite good player, and then you hear them and they're maybe not as good as they think. So you have to be diplomatic as well.
I mean,
Is this the one with the woman playing the air bowron?
It is actually. Yeah, I was going to ask you about this technique that you must have developed for getting more people into the workshop. You don't bring an instrument. You can play air.
Don't bring an instrument. The didgeridoo player was really good, and then he took the hump that I wouldn't give many gigs. I met him in Woodford, and he was ready to come on and play, and I said, well, sure, no. He thought he was going on tour.
Well, listen, if Murray's still watching, actually, here's some good ideas for your next workshop.
Oh, God. Murray, here. Tell your dad.
love
player
that.
was really good, Simon.
Yeah, you did a really good job of that one note. I actually cut that video because in the video there was at least 16 bars of him playing one note. I just brought it down
God.
to 2.
I'm glad. I'm so sorry you didn't cut out those shorts that I was wearing. Look like
No, it was great though. So what's the technique?
That's it. There, you're sign you up.
Oh,
1, 2, buckle my shoe. Airbore on.
So anyway,
God
getting back to forming the dog. When we were talking about this yesterday, you were talking about music for a found harmonium as being something that actually was. Would you say a pinnacle recording for the band?
This video you're going to show was certainly a pinnacle recording. The Maggie Maguire in Derry, she runs the Imblock Festival, and she had the idea of putting 4 Men and a Dog along with an orchestra, Michael Rooney's orchestra, the Imblock, which with musicians. I'm sure 30% of them were from Scotland, at least. And the video you're going to show is the last number we had to celebrate our 30th anniversary and to celebrate our last gig of 2020.
Yeah, Maggie does a great
Louise
job.
Hunter's at it. There's a whole Paddy Callahan. Where's my T-shirt, Paddy?
Roisin Ann and Patricia McCardle.
Roisin and them all there.
That was fantastic.
They were such great players.
Yeah, absolutely. And just touching on the Imblock Festival, Maggie does such a great job. What date, what month is that? Because people should look out for it.
It's right after Celtic Connections. It's towards the end of January. It's Irish for spring, isn't it? So it's sort of end of January, beginning of February.
All right, yeah. So
some great. They had transatlantic sessions there one year. It was really good.
I was there that year. I was teaching it that year actually, and I went to see McCusker and all that. John McCusker were playing that day.
Was Char there as well?
Who?
Ian.
Yeah, no, he wasn't there. No, I was just across on my own.
He was away skiing.
He's away skiing. February. That's Murray's saying it's in February. So, yeah.
February, yeah.
Now, how'd you spell it? IMB.
BLOC.
Yeah, look it up. It's a great festival. It's
There's
an Irish
some
language festival.
and it's not, there's literature, plays, theatre, really good.
So how did Michael Rooney get the orchestra parts to work with you guys for this?
Well, I went up, we did, the Dogs did 5 small gigs in Ireland, Matt Malloy's, and we went into Matt's and we taped the show. Then we went to Dolan's in Limerick, the warehouse, we taped the show. We went to the Stowe Theatre, we taped the show. So we sent them 5 full gigs of tapes. And then we worked out a set list that we'd like. The gig we went on the first half, the Dogs went on the first half and did our thing. Then the orchestra came on. And then we had these pieces worked out with the orchestra. And then I went up to Derry to sit in with Michael just to see about tempos and speeds and arrangements. And then Cal came up another day, and that's how we did it. And Michael was great. He was really good. And the musicians, again, were just top class, Simon. Top class.
Well, I mean, as you can see in the video, they're all having the most amazing time.
Oh, we had such fun.
And one of the great things about this video is the audience having a great time as well.
Well, have you ever done one of those gigs, Simon, where the audience is with you?
Yeah.
They're as nervous for the gig as you are, and there's like an energy in the room where it's...
That's because there was lots of families there as well, wasn't it? There was families of the musicians and the band.
Oh, God, my sister and brothers and Cal's father, God rest him, was there. Donald's mother came up from Limerick. Kevin's mother came from Donegal. It was great. And then throughout that, there was friends of friends and friends. And it was just a room full of positive vibes and wishes. And, it was great.
Yeah, that's John McHugh saying what a night it was. the last night before lockdown. Just fantastic.
That's right. John and his wife were there. We went out to do some charity work with John in Bangladesh, and they thought I must have been like a king or something because I had a white driver in this Land Rover, and anywhere I went, there was about 200 people followed me up and down the street.
Well, let's see the king in action then with Michael Rooney and 4 men. Fantastic.
That was really good. That brought back some happy memories there.
Oh, amazing, actually. And I would tell people, go and look out that video on YouTube because it's a lot longer. I took the start, cut it to start because I wanted to see Gino standing up and you weren't playing for the first half. So...
No, funny, the reason why I'm sitting down was I had just come out of a cast. I'd broken bones in my leg. And I'd literally been to the hospital the day before to get the cast off, and I was sitting with I had a walking stick and all that carry on after the thing, but nothing stopped me getting the gig.
Well, absolutely.
The show must go on.
Absolutely. Well, Gino, thank you very much for coming on today.
Simon, thanks for asking me. It's just been brilliant.
Oh no, it's been great in here and great to listen to all that
music. I haven't
music.
seen you or Claire for so long.
I know, totally. Well, I know, but we see each other online.
Yeah, well, I do follow you, my friend.
It's never enough, you know. But just a quick...
We'll get a pint after this carry-on's over.
Oh, please, actually. Even just a coffee. I'll be happy with a coffee.
Yeah, coffee and a bicky.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Well, just a quick shout out that on Monday, it's... if you might know out there, is International Women's Day, and we have a very special broadcast at 1 p.m. on, there's Frank Torpy. Hi, Frank.
Hey, Frank. Another Cork man. He was knocking around Cork when we were there, Simon.
Oh, absolutely. Nomos. Fantastic.
Nomos.
Great band.
Frank's another great player. Great player.
Anyway, Monday at 1 p.m., we have a special International Women's Day broadcast with Eileen Penman, Fiona Forbes, Aileen Carr and Rachel Newton. And they're all going to come on and just chat about their thing and just talk about International Women's Day. And I'm really excited about that. So that'll be at 1 p.m. on the Hands Up for Trad Facebook and YouTube pages. But we've got a whole weekend to go before that. Who knows what will happen this weekend? All right, nothing. We've got a new chair in the garden. I'm going to sand it down and I'm going to paint it. Hopefully Claire's not
listening. And then Claire
though.
will come and do it right.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Or it just won't be right.
You forget them when I've known you a long time.
Absolutely. So thanks again, and we will be back.
An absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Fantastic. We'll be back next Wednesday at usual time of 2 p.m. But we'll see you on Monday beforehand.